Even some Democrats are ripping former President Joe Biden for his last-minute decision to pardon his family members.
Here's former President Barack Obama's spokesman and Pod Save America host Tommy Vietor on Jesse Watters last night.
Let's talk about the pardons for a minute. Sure. I think Joe Biden's decision to pardon his family sends a terrible message to the world. I think the presidential pardon power is far too expansive. I would love to see Congress come together and pass a constitutional amendment that says you cannot pardon yourself, you can't pardon your family, you can't pardon your staff. I think all your listeners would support that.
David Axelrod, a former chief strategist to Barack Obama's presidential campaigns, also shared his views on his Hacks on Tap podcast.
Well, we pounded the Biden shit to death,
yeah,
but that was egregious. The 10 minutes before the inauguration, they announced that he's pardoned members of his family. I mean, man up. You know what I mean? Man up. And if you're going to do it, but don't do it literally as you have one foot out the door, so you don't have to explain it or be accountable for it. And what they did was they gave Trump a gift because it fuzzied up the story, the J6 story.
Speaker Mike Johnson had this to say about Biden's pardons yesterday.
It was shocking. I mean, it was shocking what President Biden did on the way out, pardoning his family for more than a decade of whatever activity, any nonviolent offenses. It was breathtaking to us. I don't think that's anything like that's ever been anticipated. And by the way, go look at the tape, 4 years ago, when it was just implied that President Trump might do something similar. They were apoplectic. Joe Biden himself, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, roll the tape. They all said that would be crazy and unconscionable. And now they're cheering it along. To us, it is disgusting. To us, it probably proves the point, the suspicion that, they call it the Biden crime family. If they weren't the crime family, why do they need pardons, right? Look, there's a lot of attention that's going to be paid to this, and I think that is appropriate, and we will be looking at it as well.
Yeah, this decision coming in for well-deserved criticism. You've criticized it as well. I'm not surprised to hear Democratic or mainstream pundit people calling it into question. As Speaker Johnson said there, yes, you can play the tape of numerous CNN and MSNBC figures condemning the mere suggestion that Trump might do that. So if they have any credibility, obviously have to criticize it when Biden actually does do that. To David Axelrod's point about it being done in like the last few minutes, that adds a flair of drama that it was done then, but it would have been the same thing if it was done weeks in advance with plenty of decision to react to it. So I don't know that really, it doesn't change the fundamental dynamics of it, except I guess shielding Biden from additional press scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean, I agree it doesn't change the fundamental point. I think that Axelrod's argument is that it seems a little cowardly, or as if you're trying to avoid the criticism for your actions. Obviously he was not going to do it before the election because that would have created its own firestorm. I do want, in passing, Robby, to praise Tommy Vietor for going on with Jesse Watters.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that.
Yeah.
That's great. I wish there was more of that in cable news. I always tout the couple Democratic political figures who are happy to go on Fox from time to time. Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, I think Amy Klobuchar has done it, and some others. And then obviously people like John Fetterman, who are increasingly on good, on friendly terms with conservatives in general, but figures who aren't like that but will wander into those media spaces, I think is good, and vice versa. Right. Republicans who do that in unfriendlier media spaces. So yes, I very much agree with you.
And on the point of double standards and so forth, I can't really let Speaker Johnson's remarks go by without a reminder that he has formed the view that Trump's January the 6th pardons are not something that he wants to second guess, while he seems to have no difficulty at all second guessing President Biden's pardons and describing them in the way that we just showed there. So I think, for Johnson, there's obviously no political liability at all in going after Joe Biden. There would be liability in criticizing President Trump, and so he has chosen not to.
I also
do that.
don't agree with the argument Johnson made there, and it's an argument that all of the Democrats made when they were condemning the theoretical Trump family pardon, saying, why would you pardon if you committed no crime or had nothing to hide? And then Mike Johnson just said that too. Actually, I think that's wrong in all circumstances, because that's Patriot Act type stuff. Why do you want your privacy if you have nothing to hide? You just that's the wrong way to go about it. I don't want maybe you to search me because I protect my bodily autonomy and don't think you have the right, dude.
Yeah.
And also because there are, and now both sides agree to this, they just disagree on which case qualifies, unfair or biased or politically motivated investigations of people and their families do occur, because you can, and this is what people don't understand, there's so many laws on the books, you can always find some reason to investigate. If you're a law enforcement figure or a political figure with chairing a House committee, you can always look in, you can always find something, and then even if you don't get the thing that you're investigating for, you can say, well, they obstructed justice or they perjured. But then when we interviewed them about it, they said some information that was not actually true because they were stupid and didn't decline to talk to us and instead consult a lawyer. This is what happened to Michael Flynn, who I'm sure you think is a reprehensible person.
I do think he's a reprehensible
but he
person.
got called in to answer questions. He didn't know he was under any kind of criminal investigation. I mean, they got him on perjury. He answered questions. I mean, this happens to low-level people too, right?
Yeah, but Flynn's perjury was not, as I recall, about a minor matter. He denied making a phone call that he had in fact made. Is that not the case to a Russian government official?
But the point being, if he just not said anything, he would not have. What he was charged, he wasn't charged with making the phone call. He was charged with not telling investigators about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his defense was, I forgot I made that call, or as people do in lengthy interrogations with police officers, you misspeak. That can be it. That can be the entire basis of a criminal conviction. Even strip it down from a political standpoint. I mean, people get convicted. People admit to guilt in serious criminal matters under police interrogation because they're so grueling and last so long.
Yeah.
You should never, and this is just inner libertarian me talking, never agree to be questioned by, never answer questions of law enforcement in any context ever. If you have some important information that you want to convey to law enforcement because you're trying to be a good citizen, you know something they should know, you can inform them vis-a-vis mediation through an attorney. You tell an attorney and you have them relay that information in a way that is not so that you don't bring on liability yourself. That's just good advice to everyone.
If I can go from your high-minded point to a low-minded one, it always irks me when I'm watching true crime shows and the cops say, so-and-so who we brought in, oh, well, he asked for a lawyer, so we knew.
Why
would he do
awful.
such a thing?
It's awful. And they kick over a door and like, this is going to get way worse for you unless you tell me what you want right now. And then they say, okay, I'll tell you. No.
Yeah.
You say, bring in my lawyer and we'll structure some kind of deal.
Exactly. Every
time. Call an attorney.
Citizens' advice here on Rising this morning. Good advice, though.
We've got a lot more to talk about. Stay tuned.